Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Jaya Vraja Jana Ranjana Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Vraja Jana Ranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद एवं श्रीपाद परमहंस प्रभुपादाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद स्टेवन ग्रेसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की ISKCON BBT फाउंडर-आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रभुपादाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत श्री ठाकुर महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवतम की जयनिताय गौर प्रेमानंदे और ग्लोरी से असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरी से असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरी से असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरी से श्री गुरु एंड गौरंग और ग्लोरी से श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय We are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 9, entitled Dhruva Maharaj Returns Home, verse number 6. Somebody's here. Can somebody take that phone because it is running for a long time?
Someone lost Prabhupada's phone and the other one.
Okay. Dhruva uvacha Yonda pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam Sanjeevayathyakhila shakti dharaswadhamna Anyamscha hastacharana-shravanatvagadin प्राणं नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं योऽन्ध प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्ताम् सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यंश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणस्त्वगादीन् प्राणं नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं योऽन्ध प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमं प्रसुप्ताम् सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यंश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणं नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं योऽन्ध प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमं प्रसुप्ताम् सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यंश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणस्त्वगादीन् प्राणन्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमं प्रसुप्ताम् संजीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमं प्रसुप्ताम् संजीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणस्त्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं ध्रुव उवाच योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमं प्रसुप्ताम् संजीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यसहस्रचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं माताजी ध्रुव उवाच योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमं प्रसुप्ताम् संजीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यंश हस्तचरणश्रवणस्त्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमं प्रसुप्ताम् संजीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणस्त्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं ध्रुव उवाच योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमं प्रसुप्ताम् संजीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना सहस्रचरणश्रवणस्त्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं ध्रुव उवाच योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमं प्रसुप्ताम् Sanjeevayatyakhilashakti-dharaswadhamna Anyam cha hastacharana-shravanastagādīn Pranam namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. Word to word translation. Dhruva uvacha. Dhruva Maharaj said, Yaha, the Supreme Lord who, Antaha, within, Pravishya, entering, Mama, my, Vacham, words, Imam, all these, Prasuptam, which are all inactive or dead, Sanjeevayati, rejuvenates, Akhila, universal, Shakti, energy, Dharaha, possessing, Swadhamna, by his internal potency, Anyancha, other limbs also, Hasta, like hands, Charana, legs, Shravana, ears, Twak, skin, Adin, and so on, Pranan, life force, Namaha, let me offer my obeisances, Bhagavate, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purushaya, the Supreme Person, Tubhyam, unto you. Translation. Dhruva Maharaj said, my dear Lord, you are all powerful. After entering within me, you have enlivened all my sleeping senses. My hands, legs, ears, touch sensation, life force, and especially my power of speech. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Dhruva Maharaj could understand very easily the difference between his condition before and after attaining spiritual realization and seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. He could understand that his life force and activities had been sleeping. Unless one comes to the spiritual platform, his bodily limbs, mind, and other facilities within the body are understood to be sleeping. Unless one is spiritually situated, all his activities are taken as a dead man's activities or ghostly activities. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur has composed a song in which he addresses himself, O living entity, get up, how long shall you sleep on the lap of Maya? Now, you have the opportunity of possessing a human form of body. Now try to get up and realize yourself. The Vedas also declare, get up, get up. You have the opportunity, the boon of the human form of life. Now realize yourself. These are the Vedic injunctions. Dhruva Maharaj actually experienced that upon enlightenment of his senses on the spiritual platform, he could understand the essence of Vedic instruction, that the Supreme Lord, Supreme Godhead is the Supreme Person. He is not impersonal. Dhruva Maharaj could immediately understand this fact. He was aware that for a very long time he was practically sleeping, and he felt the impetus to glorify the Lord according to the Vedic conclusion. A mundane person cannot offer any prayer or glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he has no realization of the Vedic conclusion. When Dhruva Maharaj therefore found this difference within himself, he could immediately understand that it was because of the causeless mercy of the Lord. He offered obeisances to the Lord with great respect and reverence, completely understanding that the Lord's favor was upon him. This spiritual enlightenment of Dhruva Maharaj's senses and mind was due to the action of the internal potency of the Lord. In this verse, therefore, the word Swadhamna means by spiritual energy. Spiritual enlightenment is possible by the mercy of the spiritual energy of the Lord. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is first addressed to the spiritual energy of the Lord, Hare. The spiritual energy acts when a living entity fully surrenders and accepts his position as an eternal servitor. When a person places himself at the disposal or order of the Supreme Lord, that is called Sevonmukha. At that time, the spiritual energy gradually reveals the Lord to him. Without revelation by the spiritual energy, one is unable to offer prayers glorifying the Lord. Any amount of philosophical speculation or poetic expression by mundane persons is still considered to be the action and reaction of the material energy. When one is actually enlivened by the spiritual energy, all his senses become purified, and he engages only in the service of the Lord. At that time, his hands, legs, ears, tongues, mind, genitals, everything engage in the service of the Lord. Such an enlightened devotee no longer has any material activities, nor has he any interest in being materially engaged. This process of purifying the senses and engaging them in the service of the Lord is known as bhakti or devotional service. In the beginning, the senses are engaged by the direction of the spiritual master and Shastra. After realization, when the same senses are purified, the engagement continues. The difference is that in the beginning, senses are engaged in a mechanical way, but after realization, they are engaged in spiritual understanding. Om Jnanatimranthasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanutam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanutamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabantho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bhutair Mahadharya Ima Puro Viphu Nirmaya Shete Yadamusha Purusha Bhunte Gunan Shodasha Shodashatmaka Soran Krishishta Bhagavan Vachamsi Me. Hare Krishna. This is a very special verse in the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj because this is the first prayer that is offered by Dhruva Maharaj. So he has seen the Lord and he couldn't speak anything at all. But by the mercy of the Lord, now he is going to pray very eloquently in glorifying the Lord in the form of Prishnigarbha. So here, this verse is such a verse which mentions the difference between before and after. it looks like some advertisement. In this world, everything is about before and after in the ads, right? And if there is anything, practically speaking, if there is some hair growth program, before and after, you can see in the photos. Or if there is a liposuction, before and after. Or if you go to choose a career path, before and after. If you do this, you get something. So in that way, the whole world is advertising. Okay, you're going to get this, or something is going to happen if you do this. So these are all advertising gimmicks. However, here we can see the true story, the real before and after. This is before devotion service and after devotion service. This story all of us have. This is not really unique to Dhruva Maharaj. Yes, it is in a very advanced, enlightened state by getting darshan, vision of the Supreme Lord Himself. However, all of us have our own story of before and after. Before coming to Krishna consciousness and after coming to Krishna consciousness. In fact, Krishna himself in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita contrast between with Krishna consciousness and without Krishna consciousness. The verse, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam. What is the night for a materialist? That is the day for an introspective yogi, for a sage. So there is a difference between material consciousness and spiritual consciousness. And if you ask anyone, everyone has our own story, how we came to Krishna consciousness. Just like in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, many devotees were asked, how you actually came to Krishna consciousness. Narada Muni, he narrates his own story, because Narada Muni is the spiritual master of Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva asked, he was very curious, how you became Narada Muni. Then he narrates his story in few lifetimes actually. We can see some in the 7th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, some part in the 1st canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Similarly, when the wives of Krishna finally met in Kurukshetra, they were also started talking to each other. How did you meet Krishna? How Krishna became your husband? So everyone had their own pastime, had their own story to tell. Similarly, for all of us devotees, we have our own story. How we came to this temple or elsewhere and became devotee. I can still remember first time coming to this temple. It was in 2003. And I came in here for evening arati, 4 o'clock arati. It was a weekday. And I went to Crosses for some time. Then I used to have prasadam there. And then I found out from Crossways that there is a temple. So I thought, okay, I should visit the temple. So one of my roommates told, I know where it is, so we'll go. So we came together to this temple. I walked in. Still I remember I walked in, sat here, and then I took darshan and sat here. Then Narsimha Arati was going on. Sat here and immediately Narsimha Arati started. So there was a kirtan, 4 o'clock kirtan. And then Narsimha Arati, and I sat. I got a sheet. Still remember looking at the sheet, and some of the words looked familiar to me because Narsimha Arati, some part we have already heard. Jai Jagadisha Hare. So I was thinking, oh yeah, this part sounds familiar, and this part is not familiar. So this is how we actually come in touch with the devotees for the first time. And I didn't even know that there was prasadam served upstairs. I just left after straight away. And then, oh, that's a bad sign. Definitely it is a bad sign. Then I started coming to temple. Started maybe Saturday or Sunday. Come, take darshan, of course go, take prasadam. Then I found out about prasadam. Then there was no time when I missed prasadam. Every time I am there for prasadam, take prasadam. Then started meeting devotees. And I didn't want to get preached by devotees because the conception was very strong in my mind. I knew what these people are going to speak to me. These people are devotees of Krishna. I know that they are devotees of Krishna, and they are going to tell me Krishna is the Supreme Lord and you have to worship Krishna. So I really don't want to hear that because, that's not what I want to do. And I know a higher philosophy. What is a higher philosophy? Just like any Indian Hindu would think. How if everything is one? These people are devotees of Krishna, they're saying Krishna is supreme. Go to Shiva temple, they will tell Shiva is supreme. So I have already understood. I am not biased. I know what is the real stuff. So this is how we think. However, by the association of the devotees, we understand what is the reality. So everything starts working, right? Slowly things start working. Okay, because everything get purified, the heart get purified, the senses get purified. So there is transformation. So this is the life of a devotee. When a devotee come in touch with the Lord, as it is mentioned here, there is a great transformation. So it is drastic in one sense in case of Dhruva Maharaj. We will go through that, what the transformation took place in Dhruva Maharaj. And here, see, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling the famous song, Jeev Jago, Gaurachandra Bole. Jeev Jago, get up, get up. Why? Because we are all sleeping, or at least we were sleeping, probably we are still sleeping, on the lap of a witch called Maya. So get up. And Prabhupada also quotes the Vedic verse. The verse is not quoted here. At the same time, that is Uttishtada Jagrada Papyavaran Nibodhata. There's a verse, it's a very famous Vedic verse, Upanishadic verse, which says that get up, because now we have got the human form of life. So this is the time to get up from the slumber of ignorance and understand what is the reality and go beyond the cycle of birth and death. Srila Prabhupada says, even according to the song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, according to the Vedic version, having obtained human form of life, one has the responsibility to address the big problems of life, which is cycle of birth and death, the samsara. Now let's see what happened to Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj performed severe austerities, which we may be able to talk, but we can't imagine performing that. It's for a short while, 6 months. Time-wise, it is very short. Right? It's very short. And we are practicing maybe for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, so many years. So it is very short time, but the tivrena bhakti yogena, the intensity, that is great. That is incomparable. That is the reason, even when Mahaprabhu would read and hear pastimes of two great devotees, he used to cry always. Who were they? Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. How they got such determination and such severe bhakti to the Supreme Lord. Dhruva Maharaj, he left everything and he performed severe austerities for 6 months and he realized the Lord. So now we can see in 2 levels, the before and after in case of Dhruva Maharaj. At one point, Dhruva Maharaj couldn't utter a word. He was in front of the Lord, he couldn't utter a word. Now, we may think in this way. If I see the Supreme Lord person face to face, in person, then I am going to offer prayers to the Lord, or I am going to touch his feet, or I am going to embrace the Lord. We may think in so many different ways. However, the reality is something else. Here at least, Dhruva Maharaj was able to stand straight, erect in front of the Lord. But generally, if one sees the Supreme Lord, they may not be even to stand in front of the Lord. Just like Gopakumar. He went through all the planets in this world. He went through all the spiritual realms, and ultimately when he went to Goloka Vrindavan and when he met the Supreme Lord face to face, what happened to him? He fainted. He couldn't handle the situation. He couldn't handle the beauty of the Lord. He couldn't handle anything. When he first time saw the Lord, all the cowherd boys were coming along, all the cows were coming. In that setting, when he saw the Supreme Lord, he fainted. Then the Lord had to embrace him. Everyone was chanting, he took him and then finally embraced him. So this is how the Lord bring one back to normal life, which is the spiritual life. So here Dhruva Maharaj was lucky, he didn't faint. He could see the Lord, even though he couldn't utter a word. Now what did Lord do immediately? Exactly. Pasparsha. He actually touched. Using what? Kambuna. Kambuna means conch shell. And it is a Brahmamaya. It's a very special spiritual conch shell. The Lord has Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. Vishnu has Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. 2 are for devotees and 2 are for demons. So we can choose what we want. What is for devotees? Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. What is for devotees? Do you know?
Padma
And? Exactly. Padma and conch shell. Shankha. That is for devotees. And Gada? Gada is for hitting the demons. Chakra is also to cut the throat, like Shishupal, right? You know Shishupal, right? What happened? Very nicely cut the throat. Not even a drop of blood oozed out from the throat. Everything was clean. Can't do anything better. A clean slaughter by the Lord. So this is the Lord. He can do anything. So now he touched the kapala. He touched the forehead with this kambu, with the transcendental conch shell. Immediately what happened? All the Vedic conclusions were completely manifested or completely revealed in the heart of Dhruva Maharaj. Immediately. So this is something very special. If he touched, nothing happens. But the Lord touched, the whole Vedic conclusions were revealed in the heart of Dhruva Maharaj. Because this is one change happened. Then he was able to offer eloquent prayers glorifying the Supreme Lord. So we can see one change. Okay. Now this is not complete. Because this is not complete. Because we can see that in the further verses, in the verse 9, we can see it is not that he was able to pray such beautiful prayers, but there was a real transformation of the heart. This is very important. Dhruva Maharaj wanted only material benedictions. He wanted a kingdom which is greater than his father, his great-grandfather, his great-grandfather, that is even up to Brahma. He wanted a kingdom even bigger than that of Brahma's. So now his transformation is very amazing because that is the prayer of repentance. Why did I pray for such material things? So I'll read the translation to verse 9, which really demonstrates what is the change. So it is not just external, it is coming from the core of the heart. Verse 9 says, persons who worship you simply for the sense gratification of this bag of skin are certainly influenced by your illusory energy. For the sense gratification of this bag of skin. So here we can see how Dhruva Maharaj is really seeing through. All the illusion is dispelled. He's just telling it's a bag of skin. Who are like a desire tree. So this is about the Lord. In spite of having you who are like a desire tree and are the cause of liberation from birth and death, foolish persons such as me desire benedictions from you for sense gratification, which is available even for those who live in the hellish conditions. Because there are hellish planets which are very opulent. There are opulent hellish planets. So sense gratification is even available in hellish condition. So why did I pray for such sense gratification? So this is the real change. Now as devotees, we can also see that how our material desires are at least coming down. How we were completely captured by material desires and how it is slowly slackening. So this is the change we have to see. There's no point seeing anything else. This change, if we can observe in our heart, then we can see the process of bhakti is working. We are in the right track. Even few years back, I used to think in this way. How foolish was it? Now I don't think in that way. So we can see a difference. Even as devotees, we can see 10 years back what we used to think, what we used to relish. That is not the same now. So that shows that bhakti is working. Then Dhruva Maharaj continues. He glorifies the devotees. He says, I need simply the association of the devotees, and I want to hear and chant Lord's holy names, qualities and pastimes. So he has such a great attraction for the glories of the Supreme Lord, and he very much appreciates the association of devotees. So previously he didn't appreciate so much association of the devotees. He didn't want to glorify the Supreme Lord. But now there is such a great transformation. So this is real before and after. The transformation of the consciousness. In fact, in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are so many examples where such a transformation takes place. Such devotees are being empowered by the Lord. And the senses are completely transformed. Even from beginning of Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma, he didn't know how to create. He didn't know anything. He was in darkness of ignorance in that way. Then what happened? His austerities, his prayer, the Lord himself came. Just like Dhruva Maharaj, the Lord himself came. Then there was a transformation. And he prays for the creative energy. And he gets the whole knowledge. There is a transformation altogether. He understood the whole Vedic Vedas. And he could act upon it. Same we can see Gajendra. Interesting example, Gajendra. Because Gajendra himself says, in his prayers he says, I have got to this body of an elephant. It is personification of ignorance. The body of elephant is considered personification of ignorance. And then what happened? He got his demigod body. And he became a pure devotee. There was a transformation. Nalakuvera and Manigriva, right? There was a transformation of the whole senses. The Lord didn't even touch in one sense. Okay, slightly he actually pushed them by the grinding mortar. There was a whole transformation. They got their demigod body and they served the Lord. And of course, after that, they have the return journey to the spiritual abode. So we can see everywhere we can see such a transformation. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, a classic example is of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he was very old and invalid. And he was in Bengal. And one night, he had a dream of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda, he was beautifully dressed, having beautiful garland, having whole body decorated with sandal paste. He had a big turban, and he was chewing pan, betel nuts. And all his teeth was like pomegranate. And he is compared to a maddened elephant. He was strong and stout, like a hero. He was not alone. He had all his associates who were dressed just like cowherd boys. And all of them were chanting Krishna, Krishna in ecstasy. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami had this dream. And he was thinking, what's really going on now? At that point, Lord Nityananda put his feet on the forehead of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and told, don't worry. You go to Vrindavan. This is my instruction. You go to Vrindavan. Then, when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami woke up, his dream broke and he woke up. And he saw it was already morning and he just got up and started to Vrindavan. Can you imagine? He was invalid and he couldn't walk properly, he couldn't see properly. And he walked all the way from Bengal to Vrindavan. We think, how can we walk 2 kilometers? This we are talking about few hundred kilometers. And he did walk. And there he composed this literature that is Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, even the Prabhupada writes in the purport, even though Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he was very old, invalid, and he was quite blind. Even though he wrote this literature, Bhaktivedanta Thakur says that people at one point in time, people around the world will learn Bengali to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that now it is not really required, it's my humble attempt to translate Chaitanya Charitamrita into English. So it is such a prophetic, statement that it really happened. Everyone around the world relishes Chaitanya Charitamrita.
3 months.
3 months. It's amazing. At least we should read in 1 year. It's like some devotees were asked. One Maharaj was asking devotees, how many of you have read Chaitanya Charitamrita? So only a few devotees raised their hand. Then he asked, how many devotees over 5 years in Krishna consciousness haven't read Chaitanya Charitamrita? Then also there were a few hands up. So he instructed, that's not the right thing. One has to read Chaitanya Charitamrita because Prabhupada has put so much of effort. Even there was a whole Chaitanya Charitamrita marathon, right? To complete Chaitanya Charitamrita in a month's time. The famous morning walk conversation in which Srila Prabhupada asked Rameshwar Prabhu, okay, this is actually coming to the next point. He asked Rameshwar Prabhu, how long will it take to complete Chaitanya Charitamrita? He said, if we try our best, in 1 month we can produce 1 volume. So considered it was it's a big achievement because otherwise it was taking 6 months for 1 volume. So 1 month, 1 volume. Prabhupada said, no. The entire Chaitanya Charitamrita in 1 month. Then Rameshwar Prabhu said, it is impossible. Prabhupada said, impossible is a word in Fool's dictionary. Straight away, cut. So this was like a disciple in front of the spiritual master having a Herculean task. How can one do it? It is practically impossible. Then still devotees had to accept because it was a question of life and death as a devotee. Because either follow the order of the spiritual master or be rejected from the parampara. They had such a heavy feeling in their heart. Then the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita marathon started. Devotees working day and night. So this actually comes to the next point I wanted to make. In the purport, there is a very interesting point about Sevanmukha. Sevanmukha means depending how much a devotee takes upon the order of the spiritual master of the Supreme Lord, that much the internal potency is revealed to such a person, and then one is empowered with that. See, so how much one is subservient to the order of the Supreme Lord, that much one is empowered by the internal potency of the Lord. And that's why Srila Prabhupada writes, our Mahamantra is starting with connection to the internal energy, Hare. So this is a very good example in which we can see how the devotees actually got enlivened by the internal potency of the Lord, coming through the parampara, coming through Srila Prabhupada. So they took upon the order to execute. And it was, devotees were serving day and night. Some devotees were translating, marathon translation, marathon proofreading, marathon editing, and artists day and night working. So one would paint, painting is there. By shift, same painting, multiple devotees working on the same painting. Can you imagine? One devotee would finish some work, and when it is left over, some other devotees would come, they will take over. This is quite unusual if you consider artists, because one painting generally is done by one devotee. Now, one painting is half done, and another devotee would come, would try to do something more, then the next person. So this is called marathon work. And then what happened? Devotees was empowered, enlightened by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So that is Sri Sevanmukha. So it did happen. And devotee was saying, we don't know how we worked so much. Don't know. How could 24 hours, round the clock working on Chaitanya Charitamrita. And indeed, devotees were able to complete the task and send the books to India for Vyasa Puja. Prabhupada wanted it before Vyasa Puja. And when did devotee reach there? After Vyasa Puja. After the same day, but after the celebration of Vyasa Puja. They walked in to the quarters of Srila Prabhupada and gave the book. So he thought Prabhupada is going to be very happy. So he's going to embrace him. He's going to offer some glorifications. He had all this expectation in the mind. But Prabhupada said, it's already late. You missed the deadline. After the whole marathon work, Prabhupada said, you missed the deadline. It's already late because before Vyasa Puja, it is after Vyasa Puja. Few hours, but it is after. Then, of course, Prabhupada gave the benediction to the devotees who worked on this project that whoever participated in this marathon would go back to Godhead. So that was the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. It's a very powerful blessing. So this is again coming to this purport, how the Sevanmukha, the internal energy of the Lord, how it is flowing through Parampara. What is the basis? The service attitude. The service attitude. So how we place ourselves, Srila Prabhupada writes, how we place ourselves under the instruction of the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord, that much one is empowered by the internal potency of the Lord. So we can see, Mukam karoti vachalam pankum lankete girim. We don't have any qualifications, really speaking. When I speak to many devotees who give lectures and who knows Bhagavatam nicely, who has read Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, or Srila Prabhupada's books multiple times, for many devotees, they said their first big book to read in their life was Bhagavad Gita, as it is. Many devotees have told me, the first book to read, big book to read in their life was Bhagavad Gita. But see the transformation. And how many devotees giving classes, regular speakers of Bhagavatam or other lectures or preachers had imagined that they would be okay with public speaking? Not really, not many. It's not really, for generally many people are afraid of public speaking, but devotees are speaking and there is a transformation. So this is Sevanmukha because we try to follow the order of the authorities. Then there is empowerment. And it is very, very important for our spiritual progress. We can see Srila Prabhupada's example. Srila Prabhupada, when he went to Tompkins Square Park, when he chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he was simply trying to glorify the Supreme Lord. And because of his purity, what happened? So many people joined in. And then time to come, so many devotees joined in. Just like Prabhupada himself mentions in one of the purports, just like if a lion is actually walking in the forest and if he's roaring, then what happens? All the animals, the whole forest is shaking, all the animals are running here and there. Similarly, when a powerful Acharya comes to earth and when he preaches, when he glorifies the Supreme Lord, all the sleeping souls are enlivened. They are coming out of slumber. That's what we can see, that we saw, that we can see the life of Srila Prabhupada. Even we can see the same thing, how Srila Prabhupada empowers his devotees, his followers, whoever follows his instruction. Even in Srila Prabhupada's time, we know how the book distribution started. The devotees, they wanted to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. They didn't know how to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. The first exchange took place in a fuel station. Right? Fuel station. Devotees exchanged some books with fuel. That was it. Then they realized, okay, we can just approach people and we can give this book for something else. So they thought, okay, we can ask for some money. We can just approach people. That was the message they got. And they started experimenting this. And that's how the whole book distribution explosion took place. Thousands and thousands of books, millions of books. It is such an amazing thing. So everything happened by the empowerment, the desire of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada encouraged book distribution like anything. He empowered devotees. So this is Srila Prabhupada. This is the internal potency which is coming through the parampara. Now, see the Sevanmukha mentality. I will read what is mentioned here. When a person places himself at the disposal or order of the Supreme Lord, that is called Sevanmukha. Now we remember the verse, right? Ata Shri Krishna Nama Adi na grahyam bhavet intrehi Sevanmukhehi jihvado swayam eva spiratyata. So this is applicable in devotion service, in sadhana, in chanting Krishna's names. This is very, very applicable in worshipping the deity. Sevanmukhehi jihvado. Starting from honoring prasadam and chanting Krishna's name, we get realizations. And this really takes place when we take responsibility in serving Krishna. Why should Krishna empower someone if there is no desire to serve him and if we don't want to take responsibility? But if we take responsibility in Krishna's service, then there will be empowerment. We will have to continue our devotional service. We may not see big results. We are not after the result. Okay, of course, we need results that is pleasing to the Lord. But at the same time, whether we see a result or not, still we continue our devotional service because there are results in many other ways coming through. We may think one certain thing as a result when we start our devotional service or start a project. It may not be the result that is given by the Lord. It could be something else. So things can vary. It is up to the Lord. But the essential point is we need to take responsibility in devotion service. Srila Prabhupada said about preaching as our family business. Our family business. Because everything is connected to giving this knowledge to others. So Prabhupada said this is our family business. Preaching is our family business. Everything is oriented towards one thing, to attract conditioned souls to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada had that vision. In one airport, Prabhupada was asked this question. What do you see? He was, devotees generally thought, if you ask Prabhupada, he may be seeing Krishna, he may be seeing Narada Muni, he may be seeing great devotees. Prabhupada said, I see flapping dead bodies. Exactly as it is mentioned in this purport. Prabhupada mentioned this purport. Flapping dead bodies means there are so many people who are not engaged in devotion service. So that is the transformation. When the senses are engaged in bhakti, that is bhakti. Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. That is bhakti. Then it is not flapping dead bodies. Mandanam Roga, there is another verse. Mandanam Roga Lokaranjanam. That is, all the activities performed without Krishna consciousness are compared to decoration on a dead body. It's mentioned in many parts in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Bhagavatam, in Isha Upanishad, Srila Prabhupada quotes this many places. Decoration of dead body. So we have the great opportunity to come to Krishna consciousness and to experience that change. It's not just after coming to Krishna consciousness, as I told, we can experience that in our progressive Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada mentioned at the last part of the purport, in the beginning the senses are engaged in direction of the spiritual master and Shastra, and after realization, when the same senses are purified, the engagement continues. The difference is that in the beginning senses are engaged in a mechanical way. Chanting is mechanical, service is mechanical. Mechanical means we just do it. There is no real involvement of the heart or the deeper consciousness. That is called mechanical. We repeat the activity. Literally, if you speak mechanical, what it means like a machine. Machine keeps doing things very religiously, but at the same time, there is no real consciousness which is experiencing. Similarly, when we start our Krishna consciousness, we may do the activity, we may chant, but there is no heart which is completely involved. But as a devotee goes through in devotional service, we can see chanting is not the same what we used to chant 10 years back. It is not the same. Mantra is the same, process is the same, but chanting is not the same. This is called transformation of the heart. One can experience this. We may not experience on a day-to-day basis. A day-to-day basis we experience. Today my chanting is great. Tomorrow it is bad. That's called fluctuation. Okay, that is fine. But over the years one can see there is a steady progress in chanting. And if not, there is something wrong. There is a problem. After chanting for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, if it's exactly the same as how we were when we started chanting, then no, something is wrong. We need to work on something. That is some indication. Same with the service, the mood in which we perform our service. So that is transformation. That is before and after. So I conclude here and see if there are any questions, comments. Yes, Prabhu.
One comment, Giriraj Swami, Giriraj Maharaj. I happened to be in London 2005. So he told us how Srila Prabhupada persuaded his parents, because the parents wanted him back to USA, writing so many letters and this and that. So ultimately his mother said to his father that we must go personally and bring him back to USA. So Prabhupada said, mother said, Prabhupada, I am worried that he is not getting any proteins. So Prabhupada said, that's no problem. Give him sandesh. And sandesh has a lot of protein from milk. So they were satisfied. And his father himself said at that time that we have not seen anybody so strong and important to convince us. We thought we would take him back. But Giriraj doesn't want to go. How can he take him back? Same thing he proceeded about writing articles. Srila Prabhupada just made him, you must write something. You must write something. And then he started writing.
Thank you. Yes.
In Krishna's 64 qualities, the first one, beautiful bodily features, and one of the main four ones, the Rupa Madhuri, don't they look the same?
Okay.
Can you please repeat?
Yeah, it's quite different from what we talked so far in the class. So the question is, in the 64 qualities of Krishna, one quality is his beautiful bodily features in general, and in the four main qualities of Krishna, that which distinguishes Krishna from other of his expansions is Rupa Madhuri. So how they differ. So the difference is beautiful bodily features are common to two-handed form of Krishna, Shyam Sundar, and Narayan and Prashnagarbha, all different expansions. But the specific reference to Rupa Madhuri is his Tribhanga Lalitam, his threefold bending form. It is very captivating, it is very attractive. So that is a specific reference to that, apart from other his beautiful features. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Madhuri.
Just on the topic of the chanting Prabhu mentioned,
Yeah.
that we should notice a steady improvement of chanting every year.
Yeah.
So, and you mentioned if the chanting is the same or not improving, we have to work on things. So how do we know what it is that we have to adjust if we don't feel like the chanting is progressing?
Okay. It is simple in one sense, but it's very complicated. The simple thing is, that's why we every day recite the 10 offenses against the holy name. So Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, Prabhupada gives a beautiful purport to the verse, Yadam shasaram hridayam batetam nagrihyamaner harinam adhayet na vikaryet yadha vikaro netre jalam gatra ruheshu harsha. Indeed, that heart is steel framed. Upon chanting Krishna's names attentively, still there is no tears flowing from the eyes or the ears or the hair standing on the body. So this is actually talking about Bhava Bhakti, which is very advanced. So we are not, and then the whole purport is explanation of the 10 offenses against the holy name, chanting. So now, that's why what we need to do is, this is what we need to avoid. In that way, it is simple. But to do that is not very simple. So here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Harinama Chintamani, he analyzes this very nicely, very thoroughly, and come to the point that all the offenses are sprouting from one offense, and he says it is based on inattentive chanting. So what to address is inattentive chanting. Now, if you want to tackle that problem, we need internal and external adjustment. It's not just internal, it's external also. External means how are we prioritizing our chanting. So that is the external adjustment. And the environment in which we are chanting. So association with the devotees and when are we chanting. So this can help to some degree to get attentive chanting. So my realization was when I was chanting, day in and day out here in the temple room, then sitting in the temple room, 5 to 7, come to a point that, okay, this time this is for chanting. I don't need my mobile phone nearby. I don't need to talk to anyone. Even if there are problems coming to me, okay, at least, I don't want to discuss at this point. So at least we can do some external adjustment that will help us to get to focus chanting, attentive chanting. Then internal adjustment that is required is called Sambandha Gyan. Understanding our relationship with Krishna and knowledge more about Krishna and our connection to Krishna. So this is called Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha Gyan means, say for example, it's very simple. If you talk to someone, we ask, okay, who I am, I am such and such person. Next person will tell you, I am such and such person, what do you do? So we try to understand. That's how we develop a relation. Similarly, we need to develop a relation to Krishna. How do we do that? From Shastra, from hearing. So the more we know about Krishna, that really help us to chant His name. We also understand the holy name and the Lord are known different. So these are all part of Sambandha Gyan. So we need to have so this is the internal adjustment that we need to make. So then we can try to approach the process of chanting. Still, it is not easy, but we need to take that step as the beginning. Yes.
And also, in my life, I feel that realization that the early hours are very, very
Yes, of course, yeah.
Because if you do the same chanting, definitely it is like Prabhupada said, anytime you can chant, it's not like. But the thing is, more effective is that morning hours. Because the atmosphere, the mode of goodness is prominent. So
Yes.
all the things
So it is like we try to take the benefit of the Brahma Muhurta, and then as we develop, we should be able to chant properly whatever time we are chanting.
Yes, if you have that morning good chanting, then later on if you chant, then that effect is still there for the rest of the day.
Thank you. Yes, Prabhu.
I have a very similar question. Some days the thoughts are very minimal.
Yes.
Whereas some days the thoughts of the mundane are quite prevalent. The days when the thoughts are minimal, it's really good. You feel it's really nice. But then there are days when you do have mundane thoughts. How do you eradicate that? How do you overcome those mundane thoughts?
Okay.
What's the process?
Practice. Abhyasena cha kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyati. So we had to stick to attentive chanting, hearing Krishna's names. And then the mind tend to go away, then try to bring it back. This is abhyasa.
Very cumbersome.
And yeah, it is. And vairagya, what is the vairagya required while chanting? We are why our mind is going to something else? Because it is so attractive to us. All the mundane thoughts are very attractive. So we had to, leave aside. Sometime get some vairagya, detachment from there. Come back to the holy name. So in that way we had to do abhyasa and vairagya. This is the practice we need. So as we get purified, yes, Prabhu.
It depends if he's talking about chanting thoughts or just about the day.
Oh, okay. It's about the day or it's about the chanting time?
No, it's during the chanting
Okay, yeah. Okay. During the day, japa time, yeah. So japa time, this is the practice. Practice to hear. And when the thought comes, when we realize that we are thinking something else, bring it back. Many times that's what happens, right? Oh, I was supposed to listen. Okay, come back.
I do that.
Yeah. So this is the practice. Good. Continue. Continue.
It's quite normal.
Yeah.
This is not unusual.
No.
And, everybody experiences this. This is a common feature of chanting in the offensive stage. Right. We have to get into the clearing stage.
Yes.
It's always bringing the
Mind back.
And when you're beginning, you think, God, I've got to do this for all of my life. This is too hard. But once you get the practice, it becomes less of a challenge.
It's like cross country, to be honest. I used to do cross country running.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Struggle. Pittopataptarasana sinnarochikanu. That's what Rupa Goswami says. Oh, it is so bitter. Pittopataptarasana is supposed nectar of instruction. It is exactly the same thing. It's like eating bitter melon. So bad. Bitter melon juice. So tough. Even though Krishna's holy name is sweetest, still so difficult. Yeah, it is a beginning. Then Kindu Adarat Anudinam Khalu Saiva Jushta. Kindu Adarat. Prabhupada translate Kindu Adarat. Adarat as general meaning of Adara is respect. Prabhupada specifically write it as with attention, carefully chanting. By carefully chanting. So that carefully involves everything. Adjusting internally, externally, everything. Carefully chanting. Swadvik Kramat Bhavati. So taste will come gradually. So that is actually a devotee's life. One can see gradually. Prabhupada writes in many purports, it's a slow process of Krishna consciousness. Slow process. It's not, there can be rare souls happening immediately. He can see Dhruva Maharaj, 6 months. But otherwise it's a slow process. Then it works slowly. Prabhupada wanted to say, yes, Prabhupada.
And the advantage of this is that you develop humility.
Yeah.
Because, we tend to think that, how come I'm not training? How come I'm not doing the ecstasy? And the reality is we're not qualified. And so then one has to become tolerant and humble and, to another piece of nature.
Yes.
So in the success the key is given.
Yes.
That I have no attraction to chanting.
Yeah.
Because that's that taste, right? Like you said, bitter balance.
Yeah.
I reckon it's a chewing cardboard.
It's
It's very difficult sometimes. But then the next instruction in the Successticum is one has to be humble.
Yes.
Respectful to others, not respectful oneself. So the mood and there's that exchange that Prabhupada had with one of his friends where Prabhupada mentioned how he had the key
Yes.
to success in chanting, and that was that verse.
Dr. Kapoor? Or?
Yeah, Dr. Kapoor. and so when we face these challenges, meditating on that verse is very you get inspiration from studying the meaning of that verse. And what you'll find is we're looking for something for ourselves, basically, whereas when we're chanting Hare Krishna, the petition or the prayer to Krishna is on yours, and whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. Whereas we're kind of chanting, how come I'm such an advanced devotee, how come I'm not experiencing ecstasy? Well, the reality is when we're in that situation, that's underlines our state of lack of advancement and dependence on Krishna, ultimately. But because when you are chanting in the right mood, then you don't want to stop, because it says Kirtaniya Sadhana
Yes.
Something for us to work on.
Lifetime. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for the class. My question is, like, when a devotee tries to puts an effort to intensify his sadhana, like intensive chanting, like reading the shastra, what is the role of Maya on that devotee? Does it bring more challenges for that devotee because he's trying to get closer to Krishna, or does it back off to help the devotee?
Oh, so the question is, if somebody is trying to do Tivrana Bhakti Yoga and intense devotion service, what's the role of Maya? Maya is always trying to test. Maya will test always. Whether we are doing it in a slacking way, means already there is Maya is there. And if you try to do intensely, Maya will be there. Maya will test. So the question is, we are saying we are intensifying. Whether really it's intense or not, that will be tested. That's the role of Maya. We say today onwards, I am going to do attentive chanting. Today is going to be my attentive chanting, all my rounds. We'll realize probably in the first round itself, what is that intensity? Oh, already mind is gone. So yeah. It is actually speaking, it is good to have such determination and doing it. It is good, especially if you're talking about chanting, it is good to approach in that way. But it is not just a mental adjustment. As the Prabhu was mentioning just now, that it is much deeper than that. So that is the humility, Trinadapi Sunicena Tarapi, that is much deeper than that. But it's good to have determination. We need that. Utsaha is required, Nishchaya is required. It's required, you can approach. But it takes more than that. The real transformation inside is actually required. And what is that? We really need help. I need help from this holy name. I need help. This is Krishna and I want to serve. That is the only way. If one actually start feeling, if that is the mood, then it becomes easier to approach. It's not like, I'm determined today, I'm going to chant all my rounds with full attention. Here we go. Then we will know the reality, what actually works and what doesn't. So it's the mood. I really have no hope. I need some help. Then somehow or other we can see it works. And if something doesn't work, still I've fallen. Need some help like that.
Chanting is the most important component in increasing our attention. You know the example of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam also in that regard. So the louder we chant, the more attention we focus on the sound.
It's like when we are chanting with other devotees, the japa by definition is chant loud enough so that we can listen. It's not that, we devotees are sitting and sometimes what happens, some devotees chant so loud, everyone else have a hard time to listen to. So it may be recommended when we're helping some person, but it is not really helping anyone else. So one has to be quite mindful how loud one is chanting. Kirtan is a different story, but japa means loud enough so that we can listen. So that is we had to, follow some decorum in that respect. Okay, considerate of others. So it is not just by sound. If we can get attention, then it is an easy solution. We can all start shouting, and all attention to the holy name will come. So that's not really the key. Okay, we had
Prabhupada's solution to loud chanting and not disturbing other devotees is to go outside and chant.
Not really. Loud chanting means you need to chant louder than the mind. It's not the physical voice, We can shout and then all attention, all bhava, prema, everything will come, yeah.
And, it's a measure of disturbance.
Yeah.
When you go outside and chant loud, you disturb it.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai.
You put it on while the speaker is not there.